glad that you were able to be here. Tonight is all about Zoe, but I have to say one little thing about myself. This is the favorite thing that I get to do in my job. Working with talented and motivated students together on something that we both love is really about as high as this profession can get. And this is one thing that I'm definitely gonna miss next year. So, tonight we have Zoe's acting recital. We met every time there was a first period, sometimes double periods and sometimes single periods for a semester. And what you're going to be seeing tonight is the fruit of that labor. And we are going to be opening with a piece from The Glass Menagerie by Tennessee Williams. Zoe plays the damaged Laura Wingfield. Here, Laura tells her domineering mother why she cannot face the man who is coming to dinner this evening.
Mom, I can't do anything. No, Mom, please. I have to say this. I can't go outside these walls. There's just too much pain. I can feel everyone staring at me, staring at this. The noise it makes, it's just so loud. That's why I dropped out of high school. I felt everyone's eyes staring at me, heard all the giggles they tried to suppress as I clumped and limped down the hall, especially when I would enter the choir room. Jim would never want to be around me again. Sure, we talked sometimes, but he wouldn't want to be around me any more than those few occasions. Not around the limping girl who makes such a racket. Nobody would want to be near me. So I tuned myself out from the rest of the world before it could cause me any more pain than I've already suffered. And it seems that whatever crippled my leg, yes, Mom, you might as well admit that I'm crippled, has crippled the rest of my being throughout time. Seems I just got worse and worse at school. And then, at business college, in that confined typing room, the quick clacking of keyboards surrounded me as I stumbled and fat-fingered all the letters. It felt as if the professor was breathing down my neck, silently mocking me as I continued to fail, until finally, all the pressure poured out of me and into the toilet. Mom, secluded from the world in this home, listening to phonograph records and dusting my glass collection, this is where I belong. I fail everywhere else in the outside world. Here, there's nothing to fail at. I'll never succeed at finding a husband or a job, so I might as well give up trying now and just be content in my little bubble with at least having no additional failure for the rest of my life. Mom, I can't see Jim. It would only result in the ultimate failure, rejection from the only person I have ever loved. Mom, I can't just have dinner without me. Please, Mom.
During the day, Juliet anticipates the arrival, come nighttime, of Romeo.
Gallop apace, you fiery-footed steeds, towards Phoebus' lodging. Such a wagoner as Phaeton would whip you to the west and bring in cloudy night immediately. Spread thy close curtain, love, performing night, that runaways' eyes may leap, runaways' eyes may wink, and Romeo leap to these arms, talked of and unseen. Lovers can see to do their amorous rites by their own beauties, or, if love be blind, it best agrees with night. Come, civil knight, thou sober-suited matron all in black, learn me how to lose a winning match played for a pair of stainless maidenhoods. Put my unmanned blood bating in my cheeks with thy black mantle, till strange love, grown bold, think true love acted simple modesty. Come night, come Romeo, come thou day and night, for thou shalt lie upon the wings of night, whiter than new snow on the raven's back. Come gentle night, come loving black-browed night, give me my Romeo, and when he shall die, take him, and cut him out in little stars, and he will make the face of heaven so fine that all the world will be in love with night and pay no worship to the garish sun. Oh, I have bought the mansion of a love, but not possessed it, and though I am sold, not yet enjoyed. How tedious is this day as is the night before, some festival to an impatient child that hath new robes but may not wear them. Oh, here comes my nurse, and she brings news, and any tongue that speaks but Romeo's name speaks heavenly eloquence.
From Neil Simon's I Ought to Be in Pictures, 19-year-old New Yorker Libby Tucker has just arrived from out of the blue at the Hollywood home of her father, Herb Tucker, and his live-in lady friend, Steffi. Herb is a film writer who has seen better days. Libby aspires to be a movie star and hopes to use her father's connections to jumpstart her career. The nonplussed Herb tells Libby that he isn't set up to accommodate her at present. Hurt and disappointed, Libby tells Herb exactly what she thinks of him just before storming out.
Well, let me tell you something, Mr. Herbert Tucker. The one who hasn't made it in show business is you, not me. I'm on the way up on the local, and you're on the way down express. It's possible, just possible, that one day I may be standing up there, getting my Grammy Award, or my Emmy, or my Oscar, or whatever the hell they get out here, and I'm going to smile and say in front of the entire world, I want to thank everyone who helped me get here. My grandmother, my mother, my brother Robbie, my friends, my fans, and everyone else except my shit-heel father. I think that about covers it. I apologize for my language, Steffi. It was really very nice meeting you. I'm sorry I can't say that for everyone in this house.
Donna is a young woman trapped in a life she plans on escaping. The setting is a laundry room in a trailer park, and Donna confides her deepest thoughts about life to a trusted friend.
It's me now. I'm the one. I have to hurry because Hilda and Tracy are coming soon, but I'm here. I guess I've been praying, you know? I don't guess anybody's there, but I've been talking to somebody. We need help. You know who I mean, all of us. I feel like I really am talking to somebody, like somebody really is there, you know? Do you get that feeling sometimes? That you're speaking in a room where you're absolutely alone, except there's somebody with you, invisible, who hears everything you say? I wish that were true. I know things nobody else knows. I kept watching Corvette those last few days. I talked to him. I know he's dead now. I know he didn't just run away. And I keep thinking about that last conversation. I talked to him. He seemed like he was burning up with something. He had met somebody. He talked about this man, just for a minute, this older guy. he did, his eyes, they were like, I don't know, like prey. Like he was watching something swoop down on him, and he wanted it. He wasn't scared, but he was hooked on something. Not a drug, but something else. A feeling? He wouldn't say much, and then he tried to act like everything was normal again, and when I asked him a question about this man, he just laughed. But I was so scared, you know, because of that look on his face. Like he would be killed in the next second, and he wanted it. And right then I wondered what his life had been like to make him feel like that. He had lived on my street forever. He was my neighbor since he was a little kid. And all of a sudden, I felt like I hardly knew him. And then he went away with Thacker, and I never saw him again. But when I heard he had disappeared, I knew. He never told anybody I talked to him. When I closed my eyes, I can still see that look on his face. It's the way Monty looks sometimes, like somebody's waiting for him too. I know he talks to somebody when he's alone. I know he's not embarrassed to call it praying like I am, but he needs it. Somebody's got to help him if he's going to escape. Somebody.
From Shakespeare's Twelfth Night. After a shipwreck, Viola disguises herself as a young man named Cesario in order to find work. Cesario gets hired by Duke Orsino. Cesario promptly falls in love with him, but Duke Orsino is in love with the Lady Olivia. Duke Orsino sends Cesario to Lady Olivia with a message of his love. Then Lady Olivia promptly falls in love with Cesario, but Cesario doesn't quite catch on. As Cesario is returning to Duke Orsino to tell him that Lady Olivia isn't interested in him, Cesario is intercepted by Lady Olivia's steward, a sourpuss named Malvolio. Malvolio has been told by Olivia to return a ring to Cesario, and Cesario protests that he never gave Olivia a ring. So Malvolio, who also has designs on the Lady Olivia, drops it on the ground and walks off in a huff. Then Cesario/Viola starts to put two and two together.
I left no ring with her. What means this lady? Fortune forbid my outside have not charmed her. She made good view of me. Indeed, so much that sure methought her eyes had lost her tongue, for she did speak in starts distractedly. She loves me, sure. The cunning of her passion invites me in this churlish messenger. None of my lord's ring. Why, he sent her none. I am the man. If it be so, as 'tis, poor lady, she were better love a dream. Disguise, I see thou art a wickedness, wherein the pregnant enemy does much. How easy is it for the proper false in women's waxen hearts to set their forms? Alas, our frailty is the cause, not we, for such as we are made of, such we be. How will this fetch? My master loves her dearly, and I, poor monster, fond as much on him, and she, mistaken, seems to dote on me. What will become of this? As I am man, my state is desperate for my master's love. As I am woman, now alas the day, what thriftless eyes shall poor Olivia breathe? O time, thou must untangle this, not I. It is too hard enough for me to untie.
known comedy written in 1963 by S.J. Perlman as a tour de farce for Bert Lahr, the Cowardly Lion himself, Zoe plays the adventurous April Monkhood, who dazzles Lance Weatherwax, a trust fund baby taking time off from Yale to find himself. Here we learn, as Lance does, about some, but certainly not all, of the men in April's life.
Oh, Lance, you know just the words to thaw a woman's heart. Let's have a drink to celebrate. Set ye doon, I'll open a bottle of old rabbinical. Yes. Who? Oh, hi. No, I can't. I have people here. What? No, I have to wash my hair. Yes, silly. Why don't you do that? I'm always here. Bye. Honestly, some men are just impossible. They think all they have to do is whistle. That was my ex-fiancé of all people. Sensualdo and I haven't seen each other in ages. He's a monster, an absolute fiend. Peruvian, one of those insanely jealous types. Tried to stab a man I was having a coke with. That's what broke up our engagement. He shuttles between Peru and Staten Island. Something to do with vicunas or emeralds, I believe. I don't really know. I haven't been in touch with him in ages. Did you ever hear of Beno Vance, the sculptor? Beno designed that abstract saddle on the top of Neiman Marcus's in Dallas. A brilliant boy, but terribly neurotic. He used to wake me up in the middle of the day, claiming I'd had affairs with all kinds of people. Osteopaths, car hops, bakers. My dear, it was a nightmare, an absolute cauchemar. I was practically on the verge of neurasthenia when I met Ricky. Ricky was an auctioneer I met in Atlantic City. Naturally, one thing led to another, but Beno found out. One night, Ricky and I were driving home in a downpour, and his brakes overheated near Asbury Park, so we had to take refuge in a motel. Next thing we know, Beno is all over us with flashbulbs. My dear, it was too sordid. That's why I sublimate myself in my work bags. Whenever life gets frantic, why, I rush over to my bench and fashion a brooch or earrings that crystallize a dewdrop of ecstasy. Your great craftsmen have always done that. Right back to Cellini.
From The Belle of Amherst, Zoe plays the celebrated poetic genius and recluse Emily Dickinson, who is granted a rare interview.
Yes, Benny, I have the tea, dear. This is my introduction. Black cake. It's my own special recipe. Forgive me if I'm frightened. I never see strangers, and I hardly know what I say. My sister, Lavinia, she's younger than I. She says I tend to wander back and forth in time, so you must bear with me. I was born December 10th, 1830, which makes me 53. Welcome to Amherst. My name is Emily Elizabeth Dickinson. Elizabeth is for my Aunt Elizabeth Currier. She's father's sister. Oh, how the trees stand up straight when they hear Aunt Libby's little boots come thumping into Amherst. She's the only male relative on the female side. Dear Aunt Libby. She'd look perfectly at home in a Greek chorus. But I don't use my middle name anymore since I became a poet. Professor Higginson, the literary critic, doesn't think my poems are, well, no matter. I have had 7 poems published, anonymously to be sure, so you see why I prefer to introduce myself to you as a poet. Here in Amherst, I'm known as Squire Edward Dickinson's half-cracked daughter. Well, I am. The neighbors can't figure me out. I don't cross my father's ground to any house or town. I haven't left the house in years. When the census taker asked my occupation, I just said, at home. The soul selects her own society, then shuts the door. Why should I socialize with the village gossips? There goes one of them now. Henrietta Sweetser. Everyone knows Henny. She'd even intimidate the Antichrist. Look at her. She looks more like a jar of sweetmeats every day. Now, she's strolling by the house, trying to catch a glimpse of me. Would you like that? So I give them something to talk about. I dress in white all year round, even in winter. Bridal white, Henny calls it. Dear, dear, dresses in bridal white she does, every day of the blessed year. Year in, year out. Disappointed in love as a girl, so I hear. Poor creature, also very sad. And her sister Lavinia, a spinster too, didn't you know? Oh yes, stayed unmarried just to be at home and take care of Miss Emily. 2 maids all alone in that big house. What a lonely life to shut yourself away from good people like us. Indeed, you should see them come to the door bearing gifts, craning their necks, trying to see over Vinny's shoulder. But I'm too fast for them. I've already climbed upstairs 2 steps at a time, and I hide there until they leave. You can imagine what they make of that. One old lady came to the door the other day to get a peek inside. I surprised her by answering the door myself. She stammered something about looking for a house to buy. To spare the expense of moving, I directed her to the cemetery. Oh, the cake. I do all the baking here at Homestead. I even banged the spice for this cake. My father always raved about my baking. He would eat no cake or bread but mine. Lovely. It's easy to make. No, the recipe, it's really very simple. I'll go slowly. Black cake. 2 pounds of flour, 2 pounds of sugar, 2 pounds of butter, 19 eggs, 5 pounds of raisins, 3 pounds of citrus, 3 pounds of currants, 1/2 pint of brandy, I never use Father's Best, 1/2 pint of molasses, 2 nutmegs, cloves, cinnamon, mace, and, oh yes, 2 teaspoons of soda and 1.5 teaspoons of salt. I'm sorry, am I going too fast? Just beat the butter and sugar together. Add the 19 eggs, 1 at a time. Now this is very important, without beating. Then beat the brandy alternately with the flour, soda, spices, and salt that you've sifted together. Then add the molasses. Now take your 5 pounds of raisins and 3 pounds of citron and curd and gently sprinkle in all 8 pounds, slowly now, as you continue to stir. Bake it for 3 hours if you use cake pans. If you use milk pans, as I do, you'd better leave it in the oven for 6 or 7 hours. Everybody loves it. I hope that you will. Sometimes I'll bake one for a neighbor, and I'll usually enclose a short note that is so obscure nobody can understand it. I hear my little notes are becoming collector's items in the village. People compare them to see who has the strangest one. Excuse me. We must be careful what we say. No bird presumes its egg. That'll keep them guessing. Oh, that reminds me, I must write a note for Mrs. Hills. She has just been admitted to the Maplewood Infirmary. Surgeons must be very careful when they take up the knife. Underneath their fine incisions stirs the culprit. Life. That'll cheer her up. I've heard one lady in Amherst is imitating me now. Probably Clarissa Cartwright. Just what Amherst needs. Another eccentric. Oh, I do have fun with them. My menagerie. I guess people in small towns must have their local characters. And for Amherst, that's what I am. But do you know something? I enjoy the game. I've never said this to anyone before, but I'll tell you. I do it all on purpose. The white dress, the seclusion, it's all deliberate. My brother Austin, he knows. He says, "Emily, stop, you're posing." Austin knows me through and through, as no one else does. My father and mother, they never understood me. Vinny doesn't know me either. Austin and I are unlike most everyone, and are therefore more dependent on each other for delight. But I do think sometimes the stories about me distress him. In a way, the stories are true. Oh, I believe in truth, but I think it can be slanted just a little. Do you know what I mean? Tell all the truth, but tell it slant. Success in circuit lies too bright for our infirm delight. The truth's superb surprise. Like lightning to the children eased, with explanation kind, the truth must dazzle gradually, or every man be blind. Words are my life. I look at words as if they were entities, sacred beings. There are words to which I lift my hat when I see them sitting on a page. Sometimes I'll write a word, and I'll stare at its outlines until it begins to glow brighter than any sapphire. I hesitate which word to take when I write a poem. A poet can choose but a few words, and they have to be the chiefest words, the best words. A word is dead when it is said, some say. I say it just begins to live that day. If I read Keats, Shelley, Shakespeare, Mrs. Browning, Emily Bronte, oh, what an afternoon for heaven when Bronte entered there, and my whole body becomes so cold that no fire could ever warm me. I know that is poetry. Have you ever felt that way? If I feel, physically, as if the top of my head were taken off of me, I know that is poetry. These are the only ways I know it. Is there any other way?
And the final piece in her recital is of Zoe's authorship. It is a response to Emily Dickinson written for an English class, nothing to do with this class at all.
I'm simply a woman, as plain as that. I see no reason why one would take interest in my story. Just another person among so many others. Humans, always thinking we're superior, more important, more worthy of this world. We are no better than the plants, the animals, even the bugs we shoo away. My story deserves to be told no more than any of theirs. The life of a bee is just as significant as mine, but they do not get the chance to share it. My name? Don't bother. It's nothing consequential. You know, I think I'd like for you to call me by a pseudonym, actually. No, I'm not saying this to hide who I am. I honestly could not care less what you know or don't know about me. It's those poor, voiceless beasts. It seems they've managed to fly and crawl their ways into my heart. They deserve better something. Call me Bee, please. Allow her to have a voice through me. Bee, yes. And my best friend, let's call her Fly. Certainly the gentler one between us. Our names suit us very well, actually, or at least how we, the humans, perceive these insects. Fly, more like a fruit fly, really, bubbly and all over the place, but could and would never do the least bit of harm. Me, bee. I do appear sweet, soft, gentle, a bumblebee. But underneath that ostensible exterior, I could not be more of a stinging bitch. And that sting, oh, does it kill me? I think I've made a mistake. The poor bee, she does not deserve to be condemned to my story. With the amount of pain I've spawned, I deserve to feel as I do now. Dying. I bet she's in her bed right now, as sweet and untarnished as a young child, composing a letter to me, hoping for my return. She is just too good. Oh, she loves me so much, too much for her own good. And I love her too, I think. And that's what I fear, and that's why I left. Such a fucking coward. There's the love that the others love, the love that they want everyone to love. And then, there's the other kind of love. Guess which ours is? Fly, she worries not. She's confident that the good trumps the hate. I, built out of pessimism, a sour creature, just cannot get myself to believe this. Fly will be all right. Frog and bird care for her. The misery will pass. Their continuing love for her depends on the fact that they do not know, and it should remain that way. She needs them despite their ignorance. It's nice to be cared for. Fly is the only one who mattered there. Probably the only one who matters anywhere. Well, the heart of the matter is I will not be missed by anyone else. My mother, the most selfless lady I have ever encountered, got ill as a nurse and slipped away. I've heard the grief passes. I still await that day. No matter. Besides, wherever I'm living, she will always be with me. My father lives, friends with Frog, in fact, but he doesn't want me. Saying he's disappointed in me would be quite the understatement. He knows I made the mistake of confiding in him. He won't mind my departure one bit, may even celebrate it. Fly would never make the same mistake I did, but I still fear for her. With my father's being friends with hers and our passing the days away together, well, suspicions can rapidly escalate into trouble. I was already not well-liked. Being rejected by a parent does not send a positive message about someone throughout town. But Fly, she is sweet and good. She is well-liked. She has a standing in the village. The people treat her well. My staying would only have been selfish. At least that's what I continue to tell myself. She will be all right. I miss her. Of course I miss her. And I'm sorry. I will always be sorry. I should have told her, but I don't think I would have been able to force myself to leave. I hope she knows I love her. It's not about her. She doesn't need me. I'm really not worth much, only holding her back. She can survive the life they want her to live. She can convince them. She will make the most beautiful mother someday. I could never convince them. So I left. She will be okay. She must.